Hi, lovely people. How you all doing today? It's another bright day that the Lord has given to us, and I hope we are all safe in it. Welcome to my tutorial for today. I really hope all of us are kicking well. For today's tutorial, we're going to be making a very simple but fitted office dress with a front cape or facing, okay? And I have here 2 yards of this fabric for it, and then this Ankara fabric is going to be for the facing or the cape, whatever you choose to call it. Now you can choose to cut straight ahead without the dress having a cut. There's no problem with that, but for my own, I'll be making sure it has a cut. In other words, we'll either be cutting the upper or the lower part first of all, okay? So let's just quickly go to the lower part, that is the skirt part. I folded into two, I'll fold again, making it into four, and I'm sure we are familiar with this. So the length is 25 inches. I'll be making it 26.5 inches. And then I'll put my waist and hip measurement. This is forming our waistline. Hip line 9 inches below the waistline. Okay. Then the waist measurement, I'll put it with 2 inches seam allowance. Same goes for the hip measurement, 9.25. Then I'll drag this hip measurement down to the hemline, 11.25. And here I'm moving in by 1.5 inches just to give it a little fit. Then I'll connect this 1.5 inches to the hip and then to the waist. If you have your hip curve, better for you. So this is for the lower part. Meanwhile, my zipper allowance is 2 inches. So this is the skirt block. We quickly go over to the bodice. So for the bodice, I'll be cutting the front and the back together at the same time. And I've already cut out these pieces using the bust measurement. Also, my zipper allowance is 2 inches, just as in the lower part. My half length is 16 inches. I added 1 inch extra for seam allowance. So I'll quickly place my shoulder measurement, bust measurement. Shoulder is 8 inches. This is 3 inches for shoulder slope. And on my shoulder, coming down by 1 inch. And from there, I'll measure my armhole depth. I'm using 8 inches. So, bust 36 divided into 4 is 9. I'll add 2 inches sewing allowance. Waist 30 into 4 is 7.5. I'll be adding 3 inches. 1 for that, 2 for sewing allowance. But if you are not adding that, you use only 2 inches. Putting my shoulder slope now. Okay. Before we talk about the cape, I'll quickly remove these markings first of all. Right, so I've removed the shoulder slope and the armhole and the excesses by the side. Okay, so for the neck width, you have to decide how wide you want it. I'll be using 5 inches for my own neck width. 5 inches. And then for the sloping of the cape, you decide which side you want it to be, whether left or right. Mine will be sloping towards the left hand side. Okay. I will need to mark these 5 inches very well. Okay. So I will now open just the front one up. Now this is our neck width. I hope you see it from here to here. And like I said, mine will be sloping towards the left hand side. Okay. So you decide the volume of the slope at this side, at the left hand side. That is if your own is going towards my own direction. But if it's this way, you decide yours here. Okay. Let's say I use 4 inches. 4 inches. Okay. So it's going to be like this. I will also advise that you give it a slight curve here so that it does not choke you up at the neck area. Okay. You give it a little curve here. This is what I mean. Okay. Please don't forget it was 4 inches we took away from here, because at the back side we are going to be removing the same 4 inch, and at the sleeve we are going to be removing the same 4 inches. I hope it's clear enough. So this is the back. I'll first of all use my pin to hold our zipper allowance together. So now, having held it together with our pin, I'm going to still open it up again this way. All I'm trying to do is for the back piece to have this curve also. Okay. All right. So as it is now, we will now cut. But at this back side, even if you don't put this curve, it is still okay. But I'll just use this front piece to cut the back. I hope you are following. All right. Now let's not forget, the cape or the facing is just for the front. We're not putting it at the back. But the reason we cut the back also is because of the sleeve, because one sleeve was affected by the cape. So here is our basic sleeve. Okay, I already made a tutorial on how to cut our basic sleeve. You just want to have the effect we are going to have at this front piece. Remember, this is our front piece. One side is going to be a normal sleeve, then the other side is going to be like an off shoulder kind of sleeve, since we already removed 4 inches here. So I'll just go straight and remove 4 inches from our basic sleeve. We are removing that only on one sleeve, like I said, since it's only one sleeve that was affected by the cut. Okay. All right. Okay, now having cut this off, this is what we have. So you will now pick your front bodice once more. You see our sleeve is still on fold. Okay, you just want to get this curve here to be represented on the sleeve. Okay, you should leave about 5 inches away from this curved area. This is what I mean, 5 inches. Okay, which is subject to adjustment when you are done sewing. If it does not sit very well, you can always adjust. Okay, so this is my 5 inches. Okay, so now we have a uniform sleeve on this side. Now we move over to the facing or the cape. This is the front side, by the way. This is the back, that is the right side, the wrong side. Okay, so grabbing the front bodice, like I said, this is the right side and this is the wrong side. Okay, and also for my bodice, this is the right side, this is the wrong side. So I'm placing both right sides facing up. As you draw this line, please be sure to leave about half an inch for allowance, or quarter of an inch. It depends on what you are sewing with. Okay. All right. Having done this, you will now draw out a straight line. Also from here. Okay. I think I will need to extend it a little this way. Please, at this point, it is just common sense. I am not putting any measurement. Once you get this front and then this light armhole area, that is all you need. The other ones are just common sense. Let's see. Okay. All right. The length also depends on you. Okay, for me this is okay, so I'll go ahead and cut another one to make it double and then line it properly. Okay, this is how I'm going to be lining it. Since we're going to be attaching it this way, I will just line this part and then here, then I'll turn it over and then close up this neck area and this light armhole area. Okay, also for our bodies, for this back side, I'll use my bias to tape the neckline. Since I'm not attaching anything on it, I'll just use my bias to tape the neckline. All right, and for our skirt, I will only need to insert my dart. That is if you choose to put dart. If you don't want to put dart, you just make sure that when you are sewing it, you sew it to fit perfectly. Okay, but for me, I will insert dart. I also do that at the upper bodice. Okay, so I'm done with the dart and also the neatening of the neckline. This is the back panel. This also is the back panel. This is the other sleeve that we had to reduce. Okay, I also used bias to tape it. I've also inserted the darts in our skirt. So So the next thing we are going to do now is to attach our cape or facing to the front of our bodice. Remember, it's going to sit this way. It's going to sit this way. Okay. So you simply attach from the wrong side. Okay. This way. This is the right side. So you just attach from the wrong side. Okay. You make your stitch this way. You open it up like this. Assuming I've sewn it, is going to be opened up this way. You then top stitch before you now bring it to fall towards the front side. Okay, so this is it. I'll just use my pressing iron to make sure it is firm and neat at the same time. Okay, so it's going to sit this way. Okay, all right. So I'll now join the back to the front at the shoulder. Remember, we now have one shoulder. Okay, so I'll join this one here at the shoulder, and then the other side I'm going to be using my pin again to hold it. I'll still use my pin to hold it here. Okay, so that we are properly guided. Okay, now with the pin, you see it. So I'll just need to hold it at the shoulder here. Alright, and then attach accordingly the front skirt to the front bodice and the back to the back bodice. Now, since the joining has been done, as you can see, I will then proceed to attach my zipper at the back. Now I went down by 7 inches. That is the marking you have here. Remember, my zipper allowance was 2 inches. That is what you also have here. Okay, so from these 7 inches now I will sew it down. If you desire to put slit, it's up to you. If you don't want to put slit, you can cover it up to the down to the hemline. All right, when I insert my zip, I will then close them up at the 2 sides using the body measurement before we now insert the sleeve lastly. Well, I've closed up the 2 sides using the body measurement, and we have just the sleeve left. I've also folded the hemline. Okay, so now for the sleeve, for this one that has shoulder, I believe it's not a problem for anybody. Anybody can just fix it. But then for the other side, which is this off shoulder side, all you need to do is to get the measurement of from this neckline to this point. Okay, I hope you are following. You get the measurement of from this neckline down this way to where I made my stitch. I hope you are seeing where my hand is. Okay, when you get that measurement, you replicate it on this sleeve. Okay, assuming you got 4 inches here, you measure 4 inches here also. Okay, and then start your sewing. All right, and then for this down part, you use the circumference of the arm. I hope I'm clear enough. This is what I mean. Okay, we have 4 inches. So on the sleeve, I'm going to measure also 4 inches. and then mark. So I'm starting my sewing from this point, okay, down. But at this lower part, you have to use the circumference of your arm. I hope it's clear enough. I'll do that and attach it. I'll also attach the sleeve on the other side. Okay, with the sleeves inserted, this is the end of today's tutorial. And I hope you can see the result. Okay, I will only go ahead and just iron it properly. Then as for this back, this zipper area, since the slit is not an overlap slit, I'll use my hem gum to just hem this part. Okay, I'll place the gum, then use my iron to glue it so that it does not open. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope this tutorial has been helpful, and I also hope you followed along. Please, if you are new to my channel, feel free to subscribe by hitting the red icon and also touching the notification bell so that when I upload you get notifications. Okay, till we meet in our next tutorial, take good care of yourself, keep your head high, stay safe, and give love to your neighbor. Bye.